that I'm all alone. At least I have her love. You see, she loves me. Lonely as I am, together we cry. And I don't ever wanna feel like I did that day. All right. Good morning. Good morning. It is 6:34. It is February 25th. I hope everyone's feeling well. It's hump day, Wednesday. Anyway, my name is Scott Redler. I am the Chief Strategic Officer of T3 Live, founder of Red Dog Mindset. Feeling good. Finally, we're able to do a 25-20 where a Conrad can get to my house and stream a nice 20-minute workout where, you have some weights in the sauna, get a good sweat out, listen to some 80s rock, and think about the day, think about multiple plans, multiple things that could happen to get it implanted before we do this 6:30 club where we try and connect the X's and O's and go over some levels. So at this point, the SPYs are up about $1.60. Ranges are still intact. It's been kind of interesting where, every day it feels like, your feelings could change. You can go from neutral to negative to neutral to positive, and continue to just switch gears. That's what traders do, where they switch gears. Ultimately, if you look here at the SPYs, we held 680 yesterday, actually 2 days in a row. Okay, so that had to get you a little bit neutral to positive. And remember this 686 middle area, where if the bears had any power, they wouldn't have let it reclaim it yesterday, and we went as high as 688.35. So now the question is, do we clear this spot pre Nvidia or not? So we'll see. Sometimes they run it beforehand, they make it look all good, and then not, or they keep it right here. So this is your little area, 688.35, 690, and right now, it's trading at 689. So we're above yesterday's high, below 690. So it's an interesting spot. The Qs are really tight also. The Qs, very tight. They lagged yesterday. They got a little stronger because finally I had a bit of a bounce in software. So everybody that was so enamored with software, you had a little bit of a tactical move, which I'll show you how that is. So again, this candle looked like we were in trouble. It looked like maybe we're going to break the range. Then yesterday, again, using retracement rules, it took back more than half of it. So if you were thinking short in the brain, once we got back above 604, you kind of had to get out of the way, right? And now do we get above 609.50, 610.50 and reclaim the moving averages on our way up to 617 today prior to Nvidia? We shall see. So so far the ranges are still intact, and there are some things acting better, some things acting worse. That's what happens. IWM still decent, from the lows, held the 50-day once again. So again, everyone's complaining and everyone's like talking about this and how could this happen? How could that happen? Things happen. How could Microsoft go down for 6 months? I gave you the technical reasons why. And then yesterday, actually, yesterday was my best day trade in Microsoft in months, and it did nothing, but it did the red dog reversal. You guys know what the red dog reversal is. So if you go to Microsoft, right, just as a technical lesson on how not to be involved, right? You have your double top right there, the gap down, break below support, retested resistance, come below prior support here, fail, earnings, whatever. So PS, if you didn't come in long Microsoft and you haven't been underwater and you haven't been hating the world there, you could have used the red dog reversal tactic, right? Everybody knows what the red dog reversal tactic is. It's just a small tactic that can make you cash flow if you trade for a living, which is what I do. I like to be in things for weeks and months. I like trends that are strong, but I also like to day trade if that's what's happening. So anyway, where's Microsoft right now? Microsoft, just to show you the tactical move, okay, it's up $1.30. So you're actually even getting your day and a quarter move. If you Google red dog reversal or Scott Redler RDR, it'll show you this from 100 different examples over the past 20 years that you could have used yesterday. So what did Microsoft do? From 423 or from 442 or from 483 if you weren't involved. It gave you a pivot yesterday. So what did you know yesterday? You knew that 383.10 was the low. Okay, this is your low of February 23rd. So your low, it's like a lesson. This is a lesson on how you can make money without listening to the idiots on TV and everywhere. Anyway, it went below 383.10, went to 3. Yeah, I want you to be able to see the actual highs and lows here. So this low here. So I did a less 383.10. Okay, that is what you know. What do you know heading into yesterday? 383.10 is the low. That's the battleground. In order for Microsoft to go to 375, what does it have to do? It's got to stay below 383.10 for the day. What does it have to do if it's going to win the battle and give you cash flow? Well, it's going to reclaim 383.10, which it did. So you could have bought it when it reclaimed 383.10. It went to 381.70. So what was your risk? Your risk was like $1.30. And then it went as high as what? 389.36. 389.36. That's where it went to. So if you happen to have bought Microsoft yesterday at 383.10 and said, I just want to put a buy, a stop at the low, and then sell at the end of the day, you could have made almost $6 in Microsoft. And then there are some people who say, hey, I'm going to do just a day trade. I'm going to keep a third for a little follow through. Well, it's up $1.44 at 390, and there's your overnight trade. So right there, the red dog reversal tactic, the RDR buy that I talk about so many days, gave it to you. It happened yesterday in one of the biggest companies in the world, and you could have made a decent amount of money. So anyway, so that was that. And now the question is, here's 392. Will it reclaim 392 or not? You probably want to sell into that spot and be done with the trade. Hey, they can't come back and take your money away if you don't go back to it. And then you had something like an Oracle, gave you a little bit of a trade also. This had a higher low, so it gave you a trade also. It was pretty powerful for itself for that stock yesterday. And so was, ServiceNow wasn't so horrible yesterday, But anyway, it filled that gap. So I focused on Microsoft, and it made me some money, and I'm done with it. I didn't even take it into today because I just want to show that Red Dog could day trade also, besides trying to be in positions when the market's healthy, trying to massage trades for multiple days, because some of you guys like to make cash flow and some of you also like to do that. So what's been working on that side? Look at Apple. Apple did a different type of Red Dog reversal. On Friday, I said, hey, I think Apple's the type of name where they're not going to be worrying about the build out. They're not going to be worried about the spend, whether they have to do big debt offerings to build huge data centers. And guess what? Right here, Apple reclaimed 260.05. Was right there. I bought Apple on Friday. And then Michael's like, hey, why don't we do it as a power play? Power play is a product that I have where I tell you what to do, and bought it in power plays and bought the options. And PS, it went as high as what yesterday? It went as high as 274. So 274. So this wasn't like an oversold Red Dog reversal. This was just the power of reclaiming a level. And then it took out this resistance, and you could have made for yourself, depending on how you used your tier system, a decent amount of money. Two different types of trades without complaining, without worrying about the state of the union, Nvidia's earnings, or whatever it was. So anyway, that's that. So someone just said, okay, what about Robinhood? Actually, Robinhood is one of my, it was working for me this morning. Why? Because I felt like crypto might bounce. Maybe they'll talk about the crypto bill. And I've lost money a few times trying Robinhood, and I bought it yesterday. So yesterday, Robinhood did a Red Dog reversal, a little bit of a different one. From 153 to 139 to 115, what did it do? It went below 71.42 and reclaimed it. Went below 70.43 and reclaimed it. So that was like a double Red Dog reversal. And here's Robinhood right now, up $1.66. All right, here's my alpha team. Okay, so this is the alpha team that you could join and see my positions. I came in yesterday with only Apple, and I left yesterday with this. Left with Robinhood. Left with some of these small names. Left with a little Tesla. As you see, you don't see Microsoft because that was a day trade. These are all things that I also spoke about the 630 Club yesterday. Some things I was thinking about. Okay, this is everyone who talks. This is the alpha team. You could join the alpha team. You could do an open house when we have it, and you could see positions. And yes, I do have the Nvidia 195 calls from last week. So if it has a big move today, I might have to trim some. And if you're watching the 630 Club or you see it on demand because your friends and family, if you subscribe above to the Red Dog Mindset, you'll never lose the 630 Club, even if Twitter takes it away. I'll always send you the post, even though you might have to watch it on demand instead of live because X is being really weird lately. Anyway, so let's move forward. Wolf, yes, Wolf was huge yesterday. That gave some clues. Hey, maybe crypto's ready to go. You don't see many candles. You don't see many positions like Wolf. Like, wow, that's actually, they're letting it go. A crypto miner with a little AI and a little data center when Bitcoin hasn't even bounced yet. Somebody asked me to show them the weekly chart. Here's the weekly chart of Wolf. The weekly chart thing tells me, hey, maybe it can get to like 25, especially if Bitcoin has a little bit of a bounce and the market gets a little bit better. This is a really nice looking chart. You know, my first thing was when it was here, I thought it can get to 16 and it got to 16, then it consolidated. Now it looks like it can go to 25. So congratulations if you're there. On a different note, I still like ASTS. I think that ASTS might be able to clear 88 to get to 91. It's been a little bit trickier lately. It has, I get it, but it's in rebuild mode. If you sold it when, look, a red dog reversal top. It did a red dog reversal top. You could have got out. If you got out at 124 after hitting 129, you didn't get the top, or maybe here at 108, you have the luxury of buying versus 77.90 for a move to fill this gap and go a little bit more. I did add a little poet yesterday. Someone's like, why'd you add poet? I'm like, some of my guys have been accumulating this for a year, and they think this thing's going to go to 15 to 20. So finally, it poked its head a little bit above an area, so I have options, and I bought the stock back. First time I'm back in the stock. Some ask me, why am I in FRMI? You know, it's also a little name. So besides the Microsofts and besides the Apples and this and that, there are some names that are going to probably do really well in the future. And my friend likes this a lot. He does some pretty big research. He actually, there's the same friend that found ASTS at like $4 and iron at 11. He thinks that this thing could do really well. So anyway, put it on your radar. Do what you want to do with it. Yesterday hit 1059. There's a gap to fill here. There is a lawsuit out there. Anytime a stock goes from 37 to 10, people get mad about losing money. Maybe they should learn some technicals and get out at 26 when it broke. But anyway, yeah, CIFR looks pretty good too. That had a big move yesterday. You know, this too has a long consolidation, monotonous, friggin' choppy crap. But it looks like if the market gets better, it can get going. It looks pretty good. Souls is not on my radar. I'm not trading crypto. If you want to trade crypto or be in crypto, you could buy Bitcoin every single month for the next decade like you do with gold or maybe Ethereum, or you wait for crypto to be above the 821 day, and it's not. Okay, I did buy Hood, but that was a little different. Did a red dog reversal yesterday, came back above 70.43. So, you know, again, this thing's been cut in half, so I figured it was a good entry, which it was. You know, the virtual trading floor saw me enter it yesterday, probably around, I don't even know what time I did, around 3:30, 3:35. You know, Nvidia is coming out with earnings after the close. Look how tight this is. This is really tight. It's in the same spot it was last year. Into the weakness, I like to buy some options. So I bought the 195 calls last week, probably around $4. I might sell some just because if it gets above 194, 196, so if this gets to like 199 today, not saying it will, you know, I probably will have to sell some, but I do feel like it's set up for a better move. So anyway, all these little things are just trying to, you know, I'm just trying to stack some days. It hasn't been so easy out there. The market's been tough. You know, you had to buy them when they look bad, sell them when they look good. Not a lot of continuity, unless you're trading like the XLE. You know, that's been great. Nice trend. I caught a few pieces of this. I haven't been as active as I could have been. Now see if it holds the 8-day. Someone said, did SanDisk change because Citron was negative on it yesterday? A little looser and wider. You know, this low here is 612. You know, if sometimes, you know, sometimes Citron, you know, has some good calls and sometimes they don't. But yesterday, their call to be shorted stopped the momentum there. So if you're still in it, I would use 612 as a stop, or if you're not as active, use 574 as a stop. Let it go sideways. Sometimes uncommitted shorts go in the name that Citron does, and then all of the real buyers and if the real institutions are there, you know, and they hold it, then all of those uncommitted shorts who think it's going to get absolutely annihilated turn into buyers. So wait to see what happens the next day or two here. It's pretty important. Listen, guys, you just trade what's in front of you. Trade the market that's in front of you, not the one that you want. Silver and gold had a nice move. Silver, came off the 65, went to 80. Some people like, is 109 the high of 2026? I'm not sure. I don't think so. But it's a definitely good trading vehicle with gold, better than crypto lately. Now we'll see if crypto gets a little bit better. Tesla acted a little bit better, not so much better. I did buy a little TSLL yesterday, and perhaps maybe I'll buy a little bit of this if this were to get above this, but it's still trapped in this downtrend. Tesla's trapped. Hopefully, maybe you get a little trade into here, and then at some point, if this were to break on volume, I don't even know why it would. Maybe Tesla will become, a better trade. Anyway, listen, guys, I appreciate you. At 6:49. Once again, there was no 25-20 Monday and Tuesday because of the snow. If you've been missing out on the 6:30 club and you want the link, make sure to subscribe above to Red Dog Mindset. It's $10 a month. This today cost me $5. For $5 a day, you could have $10 of everything that I do that the bots won't get in front of. If you want to talk to me real time, I'll actually see you as a subscriber, because I can't see half the people that respond to me, because every time I do a tweet, there's 1,000 bots that attach to it. I don't even look at the responses, but I go to the subscribers and I get to see who's asking me a real question. What do they want to know about the mindset of trading, and even what's happening in certain areas and certain sectors. So if you want to be in the inner circle of the Red Dog, where I could respond to you and see you, for $10 a month, subscribe above. Otherwise, you could be, you could be part of the Alpha team, where I'm on the radio talking to you live. You get to see the positions, and you're really part of the crew. But anyway, whatever you want to do is up to you. Just if you're not where you want to be, you're not going to get anywhere unless you make some changes. So make some changes. What's Tesla doing this morning? Somebody just asked me. What Tesla do this morning? Yeah, it's down 2 cents. So Tesla's not the place to be. Robinhood is nice. It's paying me this morning. Anyway, we'll see what happens here. That's it's good when when some things are working out for you a little bit. So this so far so good. Anyway, I appreciate you, Danny. Thanks, John. And Blair, let's have a good Wednesday. I'll see you on the Alpha team. We'll post a link to friends and families after this, and hopefully Elon will start posting this live again. What does Tesla need to get above? It's got to get above like this 415 with some authority to get better. All right, guys.